Parent Orientation Night, whether you're here live or if you're watching on YouTube. It's good to see everybody and assumedly see everyone who's on YouTube. We're excited about a new school year, and so let's start with a word of prayer, and then we're going to go through a bunch of things with the handbook and some of the highlights of things coming up. My goal, 30 minutes to 40 minutes. But if you ask me a bunch of questions, we might be here longer, so we'll see. All right, let's have a word of prayer. Lord, we thank you for our school. Lord, we thank you for all these families that are represented here tonight, those that are watching via YouTube. Lord, I pray that you would just help us to have a wonderful school year. Lord, I pray that you would be honored and glorified with everything that we do. Lord, I pray that the students would be excited to learn, and Lord, that they would just grow and mature and just become exactly what you want them to be. Lord, use our teachers and our staff. Lord, help us to have good clarity tonight as we just go through different things. Help questions to be answered and everybody to be ready for the school year. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. All right, we're going to start first of all with, we're going to introduce our faculty and staff. There have been some changes to that. If you've been with us before, we had some changes. Obviously, the biggest one is me. Those of you that know, Bayview had been without a pastor for about a year and a half. We had our interim pastor, Pastor Hatfield, who did a wonderful job as our interim pastor, but he did not feel that the Lord wanted him to continue as the senior pastor. And over that year and a half, the Lord burdened my heart to become the pastor. And then I also found out as that process began that many of the church was praying about that as well for about a year and a half. And so I was voted in as senior pastor of Bayview Baptist Church June 1st. And so I'm both pastor and administrator / principal because we were not able to find a principal for the high school. So I'll stay in that role while still working together with my staff. We do have a new elementary vice principal, and that is Mrs. McElroy. So many of you know Mrs. McElroy. She did a wonderful job last year at K Road as our office manager. Before that, she taught kindergarten for 3 or 4 years for us. 3 years, right? And of course, she has lots of years of education experience as well. And so we're excited. She's excited to step into that new role of elementary vice principal. And so she'll be leading the staff over at this campus, and I'll be over at the K Road campus. We also have our office manager here for this campus, which is Pastor Fenkart. She's now, if you will look there, it'll tell you she's entering 8 years at BCS. So if there's something that needs to be done, she figures it out in the office here. You know, you've communicated with her probably already. Then we have a new hire for our K Road office. This is Mrs. Ebony Johnson. So she is going to be taking over what Ms. McElroy was doing last year and leading the K Road office. So we're excited to add her to our staff. Then we have Mr. Brown. He's our facilities manager. I don't think he's here tonight, but he's our facilities manager. He's cutting the grass and keeping the maintenance going on, and so we appreciate him. Then we also have Mrs. Hooker, who was our preschool teacher before. She's going to be full-time staff this year and doing a variety of things for us. Just pray, because we'd like to open preschool again, but we need the Department of Education to make very clear what the guidelines are for private Christian schools, because there's been a lot of misinformation and different things from the licensing department that has caused some Christian schools not to have preschool, others to open it with caution, and so just pray that that all gets sorted out, because we'd like to have preschool again. Our kindergarten teacher is Mrs. Katie Trader. Where's she hiding? She's over there. Yep. This is her second year doing kindergarten, but her 11th year at Bayview Christian School. She's taught music for us. She's taught a lot of different things. Our first grade teacher is Mrs. Lisa Albright, and then she will be assisted by Mrs. Elizabeth Hale, who is a 2020 graduate of Bayview Christian School. And so Mrs. Albright also will be doing the WIN program again this year. So some of you know what that is. That is our Whatever is Needed program to help students that might be struggling. It's extra support, and so she's going to continue to do that in the afternoons, and that's why we have the assistant for her in first grade. Second grade, we have Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown is on, how many years is it, Mrs. Brown? 8? It says it on there. 9 years, Bayview Christian School. And so she's taught kindergarten for us before, and now for the last several years she's been doing second grade and doing a great job. We have a new hire for third grade because Mrs. Bodette had a baby, right? And so she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. And so we hired Alyssa Rao, Mrs. Alyssa Rao. This is her, it'll be her 8th year of teaching, but her first year here at Bayview Christian School. She's in the back there. So third grade, fourth grade. Many of you know that Mr. Scott Fenkart has had quite a struggle with his health recently. He had mini stroke, and right now he's at Bay Health in Milford, He was at Pam in Milford, just having a lot of trouble with mobility and strength, very weak. And so he was not able to resume teaching for 4th grade, but praise the Lord, God provided Mrs. Carol Moody, and she has 30 plus years of teaching experience, and so she's willing to step in and fill that 4th grade slot for us. If you could continue to pray for my dad, Scott Fenkart, that would be a blessing, because he's really going through it. And it's been very difficult for my mom and our family with that as well. 5th grade, we have returning Mr. Matthew Bodette. He's not here tonight. He's actually doing ministry tonight. He and Pastor Foote are at the Juvenile Detention Center in Salisbury, holding a ministry there. And so he's not here tonight, but if you're in 5th grade, if you have a child in 5th grade, you can meet him at open house. Our 6th grade, so now we're going over to K Road, our other campus. 6th grade, we have Mrs. Susan Foote, who is entering her 4th year at Bayview Christian School. We then have, for junior high classes, we have Mrs. Christy Larmer, who is on her 10th year, as well as our varsity volleyball coach. She's over there in the back. We have, for junior high and senior high, specializing especially in languages, that is Miss Katrina Medley. And so this is her 2nd year at Bayview. Last year she did the history monitoring. She did a great job with that. And then I found out that she has specialized with college classes in language, and I said, that's wonderful, because I was teaching English, and I can't have the same class load as I had last year with being the pastor. And she also can do Spanish for us. She also coaches girls basketball, and I think she's going to be involved in girls volleyball as well. So she'll be doing a lot. That's Katrina Medley. We have Brother Christian Trader. And so this is his 2nd full year at BCS, but he's been around for a while. He's done different things. He's filled in different classes. And so he's also a coach for boys soccer and basketball, and he specializes in history classes. So those who had students in history last year that had to watch video, you can rejoice, because we have a live teacher for history. Miss Katrina did a great job as a monitor, but it's just not the same watching the video as it is to have a live teacher. And so Brother Christian will be doing that. Then we have Miss Mallory Humphrey, her 14th year. She's been here since the very beginning of Bayview Christian School. She specializes in the upper math and sciences. And then we have Pastor Foote, who will be teaching the 11th and 12th grade Bible class, and this is his 3rd year at BCS. He also drives the bus a lot for us, and he's the associate pastor here at Bayview Baptist Church. So that's our staff and our faculty, so we're excited to go into our new year. If you want to look real quick at the paper that was given to you that has the calendar on it, so it looks like this. There's a QR code there. If you have not downloaded the new app, go ahead and scan that QR code, and that app has a lot of information on it. We were able to, a couple years ago, we had an app, and then the price to have it got kind of crazy. They hiked the prices on us, but we were able to find a new one that works with our system. And so that'll have calendars, it'll have schedules, and it's all digital, so that way when we update something, you see the updates. It's not like a paper calendar where if we update something, if you don't get a new copy, you'll be kind of in the dark. Plus it has push notifications, which hopefully will replace some of the weekly text messages, because that's a lot of text messages. So things that aren't urgent are going to come through as push notifications on the app. So we want to make sure everybody's on that app. We'll still post things to the Facebook group as well. But that'll really help with like those weekly newsletters and some of those other things that aren't necessarily urgent. But if there's an urgent thing, you'll still get a text. So if there's school closure or something like that. And so if you can download that app, that would be wonderful. Now let's look at some of the things for this year. So we have, as you already all know, because you've paid some of your bill already, we have a new invoicing system. We've gotten rid of Square, and we're actually using QuickBooks now. And so there's a new way to pay. You pay, you go onto our app or you go onto our website and you just pay it, and then you put in the amount. It's not like you pay from the invoice like you did with Square. But we still recommend, if you want, to pay with cash or check to avoid any of the processing fees, because those processing fees still exist between Square and the new one. And so bringing cash or check to the office works just as well. And I'm sure some of you have already we're working out some of the bugs with it, like the emails that came through saying tuition payment, but it didn't say like which one. So some people thought they overpaid or had to pay twice or something like that. But we're getting some of the bugs worked out with that. We did have to do a couple increases, so we had to increase our tuition. I hate doing this, but we have to try to keep up with the cost of living for our teachers. And with the cost just of the expense of having the school. So we did increase the tuition. So new students are starting at $4,250, and the existing students the starting rate is $4,150. We still have the multi-child discount and all of that. And then we did raise the early and late stay fees $2.50 an hour for childcare. You're not going to get that anywhere else. And so we did raise it. So it's now $5 and $9 for the late stay. But because I know that some of you have multiple children, and that could rack up quickly, it's a $20 family maximum fee per day. We're not trying to nickel and dime, but we do have to try to pay those teachers, and it's hard to get teachers to stay extra anyway. So to be able to say, we raised the price so we can pay you a little more, that helps. Some calendar highlights, if you want to look at your calendar. All right, so you can see here, of course, first day of school is September 2nd. You can see there on September 12th, it says Fall Fundraiser Kickoff. So if you've been here before, you know about our two big fundraisers, but if you're new, we do two large fundraisers. We don't do a bunch of small fundraisers, like Joe Corby's Pizza and some of those other things that some schools do. We just do two large ones. Okay, so we have a big focus one in the fall. We have a big one in the spring. Our fall one is the barbecue chicken fundraiser. And so what we do is the students sell tickets for those chicken platters. We make the platters. The chicken gets donated by Mount Air, and then we get a bunch of other things together. We make up a dinner platter. And then on the day, which is, if you can see there, October 4th, that's the pickup day. So we get all that chicken, we get all that food. We make platters up on October 4th. People come and pick them up after they've bought the tickets. So your student's job is to simply sell the tickets. It's usually a goal of 10 tickets per student. There's different incentives and rewards and things for them to do that. But that all kicks off. September 12th is when those envelopes will go home with those tickets for your kids to do. And they have about a month, a little less than a month to get, I think it's 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks to sell those tickets. And we'll keep reminding them about it, and their teachers will keep them motivated and all those different things. And so that is the fundraiser, and we appreciate any help on that day, the 4th, because it's all hands on deck. If you have helped before, you know it's a little bit crazy, but it's kind of a method to our madness. There's a lot of people, and many hands make light work. And that's done in the afternoon from about, I believe the pickup time starts at 2, it ends at 4, and it goes really fast. It goes really fast if everybody works together. And so that is that fundraiser. And then the second one, if you look, you see it there in orange there, March 14th, that's the auction. That's the biggest fundraiser that we have. So we have from mid-February, but you can pick up early letters that can go to businesses to get donations from local businesses. And then we have a silent auction and a live auction along with a dinner. So that's a big night. Again, we require all of our staff to be there, and we say required on there. Obviously, if you have something else that you have to do, you don't lose your spot at school or something if you can't make it, but for everyone to attend is a big help for that auction. That will be held again at the Atlanta Road Alliance Church in Seaford, okay? And so that's where it's been the last 2 years. They've been very gracious to allow us to use that. Before, we used to be in the Laurel Fire Hall here, and we outgrew it. So it's a great night. And so those are our two fundraisers. Again, your students' goals with that will be to sell dinner tickets and to go to businesses and get item donations, okay? And so there will be more about that. We'll have a meeting on January the 5th. January the 5th, it says here, spring fundraiser meeting at 7 p.m., okay? So that will be just a meeting to go over ideas and different things and try to get some of that information to you ahead of time before we actually start February 13th with the kickoff for that fundraiser, okay? You can see here, Christmas break is December 22nd through January 2nd. We return on the 5th. The book fair is March 2nd through the 6th, and once again, we'll be doing the 2 grandparents' days on the 3rd and the 6th. That has worked really well for us with our parking lot and all of that. One new thing we're going to do this year is, instead of the last several years, we've done the Walk Through Bethlehem, our church has put on, and so a lot of our students have helped with that. This year, we're not doing that. We're actually going to have an elementary Christmas play production, and so we'll let you know more information about that. But that will be December 19th and 20th. Is that right? 19th and 20th, Friday and Saturday there before Christmas break. And so we'll sell tickets. It'll be a play style and things like that. So we're excited about that. And so Mrs. Trader with the music class will be working with your students and the different teachers with that. Spring break is March 30th through April 3rd. So a little bit different than last year, but that will be the spring break. Those are pretty much the highlights there from the calendar. You can see how the school year ends. We always end Memorial Day week. We're off the Monday, and then we have half days Tuesday through Friday. Awards Day is on Friday. Kindergarten graduation is that Thursday. Our high school graduation is the previous Friday. If you want to look at your handbook really quick, so This handbook, we don't expect you to read it tonight, but we would like you to read it and turn back in this paper. Now, it says here, student signature. We don't expect kindergartners to read this in its entirety and sign that they've read it. But if you can read it as a parent and go over anything that would be applicable to your student, especially the older ones that would understand it a little bit more. But just read the handbook. If you were here last year, there's very few changes, and most of the changes you'll find in red. So the biggest change was the uniform at K Roads. That only applies to 6th through 12th grade. So that's just added here to the dress code section, but there's a couple typos. There's a change also at K Road with what day chapel is on, things like that. But there's not a lot of changes from last year's handbook. I thought last year went pretty well. And so there's a sheet that you have there. Looks like this. Okay, a bunch of QR codes. So you can scan these for the teacher info card form. A lot of you have already filled these out because we sent it out ahead of time, but this is just your basic information that needs to go to the teacher. It also includes your approved pickup people. Okay, so we have a list of who is approved to pick up your student for safety. There's also a sign up for the early and late stay program. There's also a sign up to join the PTA. Okay, and so you can put your information in there. And then there's also, if you're interested in piano lessons, we have somebody who is going to teach them privately, but she can do it here at the school. And so if there's interest for that, you can sign up with your info there, and then we'll have her contact you. Okay, it's Mrs. Bodette. If you're, she's taught a couple different ones. Mr. Gherkin taught a lot of them last year, and he did that through the school. But this year we'll just have Mrs. Bodette. We'll teach those. She'll do it privately, but she'll use the school for a lot of for the location. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Next thing we have is, I think, dismissal, right? Is that the next one there for the Christian? Yeah, go ahead and click the next one. Oh, there's a homework policy change for K-Road students. So, and there's a reason for that. So, is there anyone here with K-Road? A few, right? So before, in our handbook, you'll see that on Wednesdays, we only give math homework. That is because most churches have their Wednesday night service or their midweek service on Wednesday night. So we try to give the kids an opportunity to not have as much homework if they're going to be at church. However, we are shifting our youth group for Bayview to Tuesday nights. So if you want to put up that next one, we're actually going to have our youth group on Tuesday nights. I used to be the youth pastor, and I still feel burdened for the teenagers, but Wednesday is our normal midweek service. So Brother Christian and I have put our heads together, and we're actually going to have youth group on Tuesday nights. And so that'll be Tuesdays from 6 to 8. And what we're going to do with that is that BCS students that attend will receive a homework extension pass where their homework will be due Thursday from Tuesday. But we are going to do away with the no homework except math on Wednesday at K Road. There will be homework every day. Okay? So that's one slight change. We're still keeping the elementary one the same because we still have the kids club on Wednesday nights. My goal ultimately is I want our teenagers to have their fun youth group on Tuesday nights, and then I want our church teens to serve on Wednesday nights in the kids club. I want to see them start serving the Lord a little bit more than just sitting and taking in. I want them to really start ministering to others, and so we're going to try to work that. And so that's part of the change there. If you go to the next one there, this is just the pickup and dismissal times. So 8 to 8:30 is your morning drop-off time. You can bring them earlier, but that is going to be, of course, the early stay. The bus will leave for K Road at 8:15. Okay, so the bus comes from Salisbury area, and then it leaves for K Road at 8:15. So if you have students that need to get to K Road, but you drop them here, just make sure they're here by 8:15. Okay, we provide a bus back and forth for free for families that have either kids at both campuses or ones that live closer to this campus than K Road who need them shuttled over. Okay, so but that will leave at 8:15. The kindergarten dismissals at 3 o'clock once again. And so the kindergartners will be dismissed at 3. The K Road dismissals at 3:05, just like before, because that bus has to come over here to have everybody ready by 3:25. That'll be the 1st to 5th and K bus dismissal. And then the bus for the Salisbury area will leave at 3:30. So no changes there, but just for those that are new, that is how that works. If you're here right at 3:25, the parking lot will be crazy. Just be ready. That first week of school, first few days, until everybody gets into a rhythm, the parking lot will be a little bit crazy. But we usually hit a rhythm after a couple days. And people know I can come a little bit later or come a little bit earlier and get that. But Next thing is just a quick change. It doesn't apply, I don't think, to anyone in here. Maybe one person. It's just we changed the location for the pickup and drop-off for Salisbury area. Used to be at the Walmart parking lot in North Salisbury, just for insurance purposes and not transporting students across state lines every single day. We've decided to move that to the Delmar Food Line parking lot on the Delaware side of the line. So in order to accommodate that, because I know that's about 5 minutes further this way, we've added 5 minutes to that pickup and drop-off window. So normally the bus would wait until 8 o'clock, then head this way. It'll stay till 8:05 and still get here at 8:15 because they're in Delmar. And then at 4, it'll go to 4:05. Okay? Next. There's only a couple left. We're almost done. All right, My Schoolworks. So make sure you use the My Schoolworks to keep track of grades and everything. You should have got a login already. You'll be able to see when assignments are coming up. You can communicate with the teachers through that. If you need to talk to the office or to a principal, it's better not to use My Schoolworks because principals don't always go on My Schoolworks because they're not putting in grades as a teacher. And one thing we like My Schoolworks as its structure, it's not great about notifications though. It does not send anything to your desktop or to your phone. So you have to actually log in and look at your messages in order to see it. So if you want to talk to an office or a principal, you're better off either texting the office or calling the office, okay? But for teachers, My Schoolworks works pretty well because they're on it every single day putting in grades, okay? All right, next. Oh, that's the last one. All right, good. Open houses this week, okay, are Thursday and Friday from 1 to 7. Both campuses will be open 1 to 7. You can meet the teacher, bring the school supplies, and answer ask any questions of the teacher. That is 1 to 7 Thursday and Friday. First day is September the 2nd. We take off for Labor Day, and then we come in on September the 2nd. When you come in, we know that first day of school, some people like to take pictures, things like that, and so it'll be a little bit of a slower morning. Just if you're going to come up to the building, if you're not just going to drop your student off and have them walk in, just don't park in the main part of the drop-off. Does that make sense? Park down in the middle where the spots are. Okay, that way you just don't block anyone else who needs to drop off and go. The only other thing, there's a card in there. Just wanted to give you an invite to our fall revival meeting. We have Pastor Thomas Satterfield as our guest speaker. He was here a couple years ago as a missions conference speaker. He's also going to be speaking at K Road at our special chapels the 16th through the 19th. But that's an invite from me as the pastor and also from Bayview just to join us for that. And of course, if you don't have a church that you go to, I would be remiss not to invite you to Bayview Baptist Church. I think it's a great church. I'm a little biased, but we'd love to have you join us. Okay, does anyone have any questions on the live stream first? Is there anyone who's commented any questions?
Yes.
All right, what do you got?
What are the times for early and late stay?
Okay, early and late stay, very good. So the early stay is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's at this campus only, okay? There's no early stay or late stay at the K Road campus. So that is 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. That is $5 per child. The late stay is 4 to 6 here at this campus. That's $9 per child per day, okay? And if they need to use early or late stay, they would need to, if they're coming from K Road, they would have to take the shuttle back over here for late stay because we don't have late stay there. We give you 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock in your tuition though. So remember the dismissal starts at 3:25, but you have till 4 to get them, okay, at both campuses. And if you were ever like, let's say you're at K Road and you're gonna be 4:05, just call the office or somebody, because oftentimes there will be a coach there with a practice or something like that that would mind once in a while watching your child until you get there, okay? But if you're going to use the late stay, just make sure they ride over here because that's where that's held. Was there any other, no? All right, are there any questions here? A lot of the stuff will just be answered by reading the handbook, and if you have any questions after reading the handbook, just reach out. All right, any questions? Everybody wants to be out at 30 minutes. Okay. Yes. It's just if you use it, yep. So it's a little bit more, but at the same time, you have the full 2 hours if you absolutely need it. So. Did you have a question? She had 2 hands up. She was like, I got 2 questions. Yes, Ms. McElroy. Yes. All righty. If that's all, we can be dismissed in prayer. If you haven't gotten your yellow cards yet, so those are your cards that you bring at the dismissal. So the people in the parking lot are going to look for your name for your students. And if somebody doesn't have this card and they try to pick up your child, they're going to question it. Okay, so normally what you do is, let's say you can't make it, somebody who has a card, you're going to have to call the office ahead of time and let us know exactly who's going to be picking up your child so that our people know. Okay, that's the easiest way to do that if you can't pass them the card. Okay, if you need more copies of these cards, there's one for 2 vehicles here. If you need more of those, just ask the office. Those who are online, these will be part of the open house with all your students' books, as well as your students' gym shirts will be with their books at open house. Okay, if you ordered polos for K Road, the orders, a lot of them are out there in the foyers. Just look for your name and grab the bag for that. Okay, all right, let's have a word of prayer. Lord, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to be part of a Christian school. We thank you for all these families. Lord, I pray that you would just help them as they prepare last-minute preparations for the school year. Lord, I pray that just everything would work out with just getting all their school supplies and all those different things as they lead up to a new school year. Lord, I pray that you would just help it to be a wonderful school year for the students as well as the families. Lord, I pray that you would just be magnified and glorified in everything that we do this year.